of your home. And that, my dear friends, is a very unique experience. The chance of landing a job offer, which can be in academia or in the industry. And the chance is obviously higher and better. And also, it prepares yourself mentally for all the upcoming crossroads. This is just the beginning. Clearing IIT-JAM or preparing for IIT-JAM, even if you don't clear it, is just the beginning of a big tunnel that's there in front of you. It's about all the crossroads that would come up, all the hurdles that life would throw at you, all the decisions that you would have to make standing at those crossroads, whether you want to take a bend or whether you want to go straight. Even when you have a goal straight ahead, would you risk to take the bend? It makes you think how much your risk-taking capabilities are. What are your limitations? How much you can push yourself. It prepares you mentally. So preparation for JAM is nothing short of preparation for life as a bigger goal. So what if we did all of the above? We prepared for JAM, we sat for the examination, we took the examination, and then we failed. Let's talk about that elephant in the room for some time now. What if we fail? Why me? Ever asked this question to yourself? I'm pretty sure you must have failed before. Maybe in a football match where you failed to score the last goal that you needed. Maybe in a dancing competition where you just missed the mark. Maybe in the kitchen where you ended up creating a massacre instead of the gourmet dish you were thinking of making. Maybe in any sphere of life. And sometimes, maybe while cleaning up the mess that you had created, the question might have come up into your subconscious or your conscious mind. Why me? Why did it happen to me? Now, failures are a part of success. This is something that everybody tells us. But does anybody tell us how to answer the why me in our heads? To me, the way once I answered this and the way I answered this even today is, did I crib for once when my brother was born? No, I didn't. I thought I was fortunate. But then, why should I crib if I am asked to come back home very early in the evening, whereas my brother is allowed to stay outside? He probably goes out at the time that I come back. And that's because I am told that I am the elder one and I should be setting an example for my younger one. I must have asked myself, why me? But then I did not ask myself, why me, when my brother was born. I found myself to be fortunate. Did you ask yourself, why me, when you landed up the girl you were eyeing for a long time? Did you ask it? But you rather asked it when your girlfriend left you for another person. You did ask, why me? But you didn't ask the same question when that girl actually came to you and became your girlfriend. At that point, you thought you were the most eligible one. You thought yourself fortunate. You didn't ask, why me? So, we don't ask life, why me, when we are fortunate, when the happy hours are in favor. But rather crib, why me, when the turmoil starts, when the storm starts. So should we say why me, or should we look in the eye of the storm and say try me? Once you say try me, that solves all your problems because you mentally prepare yourself for all the upcoming hurdle, for all the upcoming turmoil that the storm would bring. And once you're mentally harnessed to face all the challenges, you will definitely come out of the storm, even if you're battered. But you would come out alive. So failures are just a part of that life. It's just a part of the storm which would come and pass away, but it would definitely leave you with much more experience than anybody else ever had. So the next time you ask life, why me? Instead, ask life, try me. Life will never give you the answer of why me. It will always give you the answers of try me. So the process of learning, and it's not just about science, it's about life in whole, is what I feel. When we start something, we are mildly terrified, but we're excited. Everything is new and bizarre, and everyone seems like they're a genius. So we are on the upper half of the curve. We are floating in our happy hormones. Then suddenly a time comes when we're struggling with a certain concept so much that we end up wondering if we should keep on trying. Well, that's the time when we question why me. Well, that time too passes. And we again go to the positive half of the curve, where we continue anyway and we do not give up. Suddenly, something clicks, and we are in the happy hormones mood again. But then it doesn't really stay for a long time. It again dips, and you start feeling like your brain might explode because of the exhaustion that you have spent in the earlier part of the curve. Then you overcome that dip again, move up, and you find your niche. What really excites and motivates you? You're again floating in your happy hormone stage, and you find out your niches, your hobbies. What motivates you? You find out your motivating agent. Then you realize that you'll never know everything, and even your professors are sometimes unsure. Your professors, your mentors are even sometimes unsure. You realize that truth, and then you never stop learning. And that's how the life of not just learning science, but life as a whole works, with all its dips and peaks. So let's enjoy life with all the curves as they come, instead of cribbing when we are at the dips. So I would come back to perception again and ask you one last time about apples. Well, at this point, you might actually be thinking if I'm obsessed with apples. Did anyone imagine this situation when I asked you to think of apples? Did anyone think of themselves as a green apple amidst a crate of red? Or did anyone think of how many different ways the different letters in the word apple can be rearranged, which we call anagramming in English? To read other words, apple has two anagrams: apple, as an appellate jurisdiction, and pepla. So this is, if I'm not wrong, this is a clothing. So did anybody think of any other situation that came into your mind? This definitely was one that came into my mind for the first time. The first time when somebody told me apple, what came into my mind was apple and pipla. Did something else come into any of your minds? If yes, now is the time for an open forum. Open your mics, put your comments in the comment section, and let's have all your suggestions, your comments, what you thought about today's session, or your questions that you have for me, or if you thought of any other situation for Apple. Thank you. Go ahead with your questions. Shoot.
Thank you, Nilanjana. So nice to motivate all the people around there, all the students. They have huge bunch of questions. So I guess I would start with the questions. Are you ready, Nilanjana? I
Yeah,
will start.
yeah, I am. Please go ahead and
Okay,
shoot.
okay. So those who haven't yet given your questions, please write it down fast. We are going to say it to Nilanjana right now. Okay, the first question has come from Bintu Chatterjee. He has asked how to get a job in private sector from the geology background.
Okay. Hi, Bindu. Pardon if I'm pronouncing your name wrong.
Bintu Chatterjee.
Bintu. Okay. So, hi. How to get a job in a private sector? Well, to get a job, well, let's be honest about it. We are an economy of 1.38 billion, and we all know the amount of joblessness that's there in the economy, the rampant educated unemployment that's there. So, in such a situation, you will end up with a lot of, a very less vacancies and a lot of labor force ready for a single vacancy that appears. How to get a job? You might not really be able to land a job at the very first go, but that doesn't mean you need to give up. Keep on trying. Fill up each and every application that you see, which fits you, which fits your skill sets, and apply for that position and try out the interview. Well, an interview experience is something that is going to help you throughout your life. It helps you figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, where are the skill sets that you need to improve on, how to appear, how to talk, an interview, how to handle yourself in an interview room. So, this is one particular aspect that improves only with experiences. So, the more the number of interviews in which you appear, the better you get at it. So, if you think yourself before going into an interview, when you see a vacancy, if you think if you fit for uh, all the points that they are looking for that particular vacancy, if you have all the skill sets that they ask for, go and fill the form and sit for the interview and see what happens next. You would be surprised that with the amount of experience you would gain, whether you land up the job or not. I hope I answered your question. Next one.
Okay, so Nilanjana, one more announcement I have to say. All the guys, please, all the students, please fill up the feedback form with your names correctly. Otherwise, we won't be able to dispatch your participation certificate. So please, I mention it, please fill up the feedback form within the 2 hours so that you can get your certificate as fast as you can. Now I come back to the question session again. Another question, Nilanjana from Arpita Pandey. After Bombay, how did you get the job in PSU through GATE or college placement?
Okay, so for the first thing, Arpita, I do not work in a PSU. I work in a private company. A PSU is a public sector undertaking. So, if you're asking me about how I landed up on my job, I landed up with Kane over campus placements on the year of my final year of masters. So yes, I was one of the few lucky ones who had her job through placements.
Okay. Another question from Obhijit Ghorai. Scope in the present days in geology background. Want to know details about job vacancies and possibilities. They're all job oriented questions.
Great. I did expect this. So are these UGs or are these PGs? Before I answer that question, I am expecting these are PGs. Why are UGs not asking anything?
Yes, UGs are there. So Obhijit Ghorai, I think so. Probably he's from PG. So he want to ask the background of geology, means present day scope of geological background and job vacancies.
Okay, so geology present day, you definitely have the two options of going either with academics, either in the field of academia into research. If that's your niche, you find out your niche first, or you have the option of going into the industry, into the world of industry, into the world that's more about application of what you know. So if you're asking me as to specify organizations, well, that is, I think, not my job over here. That is something you can Google and find out any damn day. If I start naming them, there would be a big list, and I really don't want to waste time naming that big list. So, about options, yeah, definitely. You have research as a very big field. Find out your niche. If you really want to go and if you're really research, take it up. Also, one word of caution before you choose whether you want to go for research or for industry. Evaluate and re-evaluate what your current situations are, how much risk you can take, and what you see, how do you see your current situation might change at least 5 years from now. And now I am talking about financial situations, I am talking about family situations, I am talking about societal institutions, I am talking about the family pressures, health situations. Think of life in that perspective now. If you are a PG who is searching for jobs, if you are a PG who is confused about thinking whether you should go for research or for a job, think deeply. Think into yourself. This is a question that you and only you can answer. Nobody else, believe me, nobody else can answer it on behalf of you, because only you will be aware of your financial needs, of your family needs, of your health needs. Nobody else will be. So, and also what your niche is. Do you have a passion for research? Do you have an aptitude for the industry? Well, these worlds are not similar to the college ones that you have had till now. That's for sure. Are you ready to take a leap into these worlds? Prepare yourself mentally. I hope I answer that.
Sorry, Subha Dharani and Arpita Pandey had asked you what was your JAM strategy to prepare themselves for
This is
JAM.
my UG question, and I am extremely happy for this one. Okay, what was my JAM strategy? Well, this is one thing where I'm going to tell you a very personal experience. So when I was 18, in my higher secondary classes 11th and 12th, I was preparing for medicine. Well, something very unfortunate happened and I couldn't end up with medicine. So, and that's when I learned to take life seriously. It's like you learn with your experiences. Something unfortunate, something misfortunate happens and it just clicks on your head. Something happened. So that's when geology was always there in the back of my mind. I did know about geology before I took up the subject. So before I even applied for the subject, I did go and talk to a particular senior. I'm pretty sure maybe some of you would be knowing her, some of you wouldn't be knowing her. She's probably currently at Durgapur Government College, and she mentored me at that point. She told me, she literally introduced me to the subject. She told me this is a subject that takes you across India and sometimes maybe across worlds, and gives you an opportunity to read about rocks, fossils, time, so much more. And then in that conversation, she did mention about JAM. Now, this is something that's happening even before I applied for geology across colleges. So she told me that there's an examination that comes 3 years after. That's at your graduation. You can appear for that examination, and maybe if you give it a long shot, you can end up in an IIT. So that was there at the back of my head even before I started applying for geology. So once I started applying for geology, since I am a Durgapurian, I got a chance to study at Durgapur Government College. I really didn't go for Kolkata, to be very honest. I did apply for all the Kolkata colleges. I got a chance to study presidency. I dropped it. Well, maybe for the good. Maybe for real good, I dropped it. I didn't really realize it, but then later I did. And so when I started studying geology, the first thing that I fell in love with was igneous petrology. And it's still my first love. I love igneous petrology on another level. So as I started reading igneous petrology and as I started delving into hard rocks, mineralogy, crystallography, and these things, I started going into the library and figuring out things myself. Now, this is a thing that every UG student will have a different approach to. I had a different love for the library. So our government college library is probably one of the best libraries, one of the top 5 libraries in West Bengal. And it's a huge library, so you won't be able to end up the amount of data, the amount of information that's there in our library. So I ended up in the library every day almost, and it was continuous reading, studying, seeing things from different perspectives, studying different books to see how different authors' perspectives can get about a very singular topic, is how I sort of prepared myself at the initial stages when I got used to the subject. At the later stages, well, I started solving out question papers, and yes, the more you start loving the subject, the easier it becomes to do the whole dynamics, to prepare yourself, and even to prepare yourself for failures. Well, my college life was nothing short of failures. But then, that's past, and let that past be at my past. But preparing about JAM, it takes grit. No doubt on that. Your grit and hard work would pay off. I hope you find this piece of information helpful. If you need something more, you may contact any person at EduBazar, and they would contact me in turn for maybe an even detailed perspective into this.
Okay, one more question from Preeti Roy.
Mm-hmm.
Is it necessary to choose whether I should go with further studies after MSc or I should do a job in my UG level? What are the job opportunities in this field? Actually, you can get the thing that students are very much oriented with the jobs, like what to do. Should I stop in UG or should I go abroad or should I go front in MSc?
Okay, is this person a UG third year?
Yes, she's a UG student.
Okay, so she's thinking about what to do for masters, right?
Yes. Is she means she should go further for masters or she should stop here and start searching for other jobs?
That depends on what her financial condition is at home and what her niche is. That's what I said a few minutes back. You need to look into your condition right now. If you're asking this question, you need to look into your condition right now. You might have a very big love for geology, but your condition at home, your family, your finances, your health might not be helping you to pursue that right now. So this is a question which you can answer for yourself and nobody else can. If you think everything is stable and you can go ahead with and you have a niche for research, you want to do masters, go ahead with it. Why shouldn't you? If you think no, you need something right now, your wants and needs will never coincide. Not never, most of the times will not coincide. So figure out what you want and what you need and what are your priorities first. If you are asking me what to choose, which way to go, that's what I mentioned when I mentioned crossroads. You are standing at one of those crossroads. Identify that crossroad. Find out, should you take the bend or should you go straight? Find out what your situation is currently as you stand at that crossroad. Can you afford to do what you want to do? Or do you need to do something else? Give yourself some introspection time. You will get your answers yourself. This is an answer nobody else other than you can get. The next one.
Okay. The next one is there, this is from Shishir Odhikari as well as from Preeti Roy also,
Okay.
that is there any value of geology subject without field, without practical work during this pandemic, because we are all doing everything based on the books?
This is a very interesting question, a very, very, very interesting question. To be honest, we really don't have a choice right now. We don't have a choice of going into our labs, performing geochemistry experiments, or maybe going into a microscope lab and looking through syn sections, or looking through hand specimens, creating thin sections. I understand times are difficult right now. Well, you are asking me whether there's a meaning to it. What sort of a meaning are you searching for the first thing? If you are somebody who thinks I'm going to go ahead, have my degree in master's or in bachelor's, whichever level you are in, have my degree in it, and maybe then think about pursuing something else after that, then maybe you should go ahead and have the degree and maybe try to find out how to handle the labs. I'm pretty sure you're not the only one who is having this problem. The whole batch of yours is having this particular problem. And so, is there a meaning to geology beyond labs or beyond field work? A very difficult question to answer, specifically because I don't have an experience of that sort. I can tell you one thing. In my bachelor's third year, I had a broken leg, a broken toe, 24 hours before I left for my third year field tour. So I broke my leg 24 hours before and I left 24 hours after I broke my leg with a broken leg, and I completed the whole of my BSc third year field work. That's because I wanted to do it whatsoever. What come, what may, I would do it. No, that's an attitude that I have. That's a perception that I have for myself. How do you perceive it? Do you think of it as an obstacle or do you think of it as an opportunity? Think about it. The next one.
Okay. Arpita Pandey, Ayush Sharma, they have asked about what are the job opportunities, or you can say the placements in IIT Bombay.
Okay, that's something that probably a very recent senior of yours can say. I am pretty old and things are so dynamic that it changes every year. And life, to be honest, is so dynamic that it changes every second. And probably that's something that the pandemic has made all of us realize in the last 2 months. So if you're asking me what are the job opportunities in Bombay, well, there are a lot of private sector companies that are going to be there. There are going to be a lot of openings. Try them out. You can have course and you can have non-course both. You can apply for both. Try them out. You can, if you are at IIT Bombay, you will definitely know about it because you have a proper placement cell over there who is going to guide you through every single step of application in jobs. So it's a very open forum over there. It's a very friendly situation over there. You can go and ask and approach any person in the placement cell, and they're going to help you out with that. I don't know which companies are opening their IJPs right now, because back in our days, we had PSUs used to open their IJPs. We had ONGC coming into campus for campus placements. I'm pretty sure ONGC does not come into any campus these days. So times have changed. So if you're asking me which specific companies go and open their IJPs at IIT Bombay right now, no, I don't know. A lot of them do open, lot of them.
Okay, Shamiksha Das has a question. Like, today is the theme of thinking big, think about IIT, thinking big, like this. But the thing is, her question is, what if not in IIT? What if I do in BHU, Delhi University, or Pondicherry University? What would be my exposure? Is IIT the one which gives us all the opportunities?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. And this is a yes and a no question. What does IIT give you opportunities? Does IITs give you better opportunities in terms of placement? Yes, they do. I am not sure, but I think a BHU is an IIT right now, I guess. I think, yes, it's IIT BHU now. So Delhi University or Pondicherry University or Annamalai University or any other universities that are there across India, Jadavpur, Presidency, I'm not sure about how big or how, I would always in my life want to achieve big. So I would always give the hotshot a chance. So if you are thinking about what if I do not get into an IIT, does my opportunities close up? Yes, they do to a bit, because an IIT is another different world altogether. If you do not get into an IIT, you will never understand what the difference is. So yes, I would always motivate you to try for it. But what if you can't do it? Does that mean your doors are closed? No, your doors aren't closed. You still can go out, can apply your CV to so many different organizations who are looking for graduates, postgraduates also. So it would be your own initiative where you want to go and apply your CV for. But in an IIT, the process is far more streamlined and it's often easier. The headache is often lesser. So in terms of opportunities, the number of opportunities even outside of thinking of job as an institution, it's huge. You get to do so many things beyond just thinking about a job. You get to do so much more, so much more. You get to teach other people. You get to learn thousands of different skill sets. You get to hone them. You get to play with some of the best players from inter-IITs. You get to participate in so many inter-IIT events. You get to hone all your hobbies and maybe even think about taking them up as professions. I have seen a lot of IITians who have maybe taken up their master's or their PhD degrees and then gone ahead and persuaded their hobbies into full-time careers. Now, this is something that can be done even while not in an IIT. But an IIT does give you a lot more opportunities in a very streamlined and an easy fashion. So if you get something, if you can get something easily, would you really want to try the hard way?
Okay. One more question. This is from Deboshmita as well as from Sancharita. They all want to know about the backgrounds of hydrogeology and how they can join CGWB.
Okay, this is not something that I can tell you. CGWP is something that probably has its own openings.
UPSC, I guess it's through UPSC.
It is through UPSC. Should be through UPSC. CGWP, I don't think it takes through GATE or some other examination. No.
Okay, Titho De Sarkar has a question, very interesting one. Is there any limit for any individual, as you say, while preparing these competitive exams, you can find your limitations? Like he himself doubts himself a very lot for examinations, getting failed is very, I avoid these examinations because of failure.
Now, my dear, I am guessing you are not the only person or not the only individual over here who has a fear for failure. But that's what I tried to ask you when I was speaking. Have you never failed at making a goal in your football field? Have you never failed in your cricket field while playing? Or any other game that you pursue? I'm pretty sure a lot of us do pursue games beyond studying geology or whatever we are studying. I am, for one person, who loves playing. Throughout my childhood, I have been a person who used to play Kho-Kho. I was selected for district level Kho-Kho. Now, that's a regret that I have that I didn't go for it. In my higher studies, I used to pursue martial arts. Throughout my college days, I had pursued martial arts. At IIT, I had pursued a lot of different games, including chess, badminton, lot more. So, and now, right now, as I work, I am a national level Scrabbler. So I pursue Scrabble every day. So failure is something at games that teach us how to take failures. Don't you play. If you do not play, please, please, please take up a particular sport. Please take up a particular game. I'm pretty sure that will erase this particular fear of failure, because failure is something so common and resilience is something that you will learn from playing. You go out into the open football field, you kick the ball doesn't go into the goal, instead hits the goal post and goes directly 90 degrees from the goal post into the gallery. You really want that? That's failure. But then that happens, and that happens more. So would you fear that and not pull your socks up and go into the field simply because you fear that? Don't you see the other side of the coin where that might not happen and your ball might end up in the goal? End up into the goal. You might end up scoring a goal for your team. Think of situations from the positive sides. Do not fear to fail. You will fail. This is like the ultimate truth of life. You will fail. Whatever you do, you are bound to fail. Take that up. Take that up like you brush every morning and you throw all the grit out of your mouth. Throw failure out of your body just like that. You're going to fail in every single thing that you're going to take up. Does that mean you're not going to go ahead in your life? Does that mean you're going to give up on life? Think twice. And if you are having some confidence issues, think where you are lacking. If you think You can't retain. You have problem with memory. Take up memory retaining games. If you think you have problem sitting in an interview and you can't face the interviewer, your nerves are jittery, try speaking in front of a mirror and recording yourself and listening to that recording 1,000 times. Try memorizing things up before you go into a forum, before speaking in an audience. Find out what is it that makes you jittery. What is it that you lack? And then try figuring it out and solving the problem out. You will have your solutions, but please, please, please don't be afraid of failures, because that's bound to happen, whatever you do. Whatever you do, literally, whatever you do. You go into the kitchen and try cooking, you'll see you have ended up with some burnt pots and pans. Well, that's failure. But then, will you sit with an empty stomach the whole day? The next one.
Akshit Sharma has asked, are private institutes good for pursuing masters in India? And also about the scholarship facilities that we have in IIT Bombay.
Private institutes, as in, I would like to know what he meant by private institutes for master's persuasion. For me, an IIT would be an IIT always. For me, any day you ask me, I would pursue bachelor's, master's, postdoctorals, everything in an IIT if it is there, if I have the opportunity. And what was the next question? Sorry, I just missed out.
Next question was, what are the scholarship facilities that we get?
Bombay. Okay, scholarships in Bombay. You have a merit cum means scholarship that's there. You have if you are taking admission under reservations, you have a lot of financial benefits, financial help that the institute will provide you. You just need to give them proper certificates for that, showing that you are eligible for it. You have the student alumni cell. The Alumni Association of Bombay is a very, very active association, and the alumni cell helps out to people who need financial aids. So make sure that you have your documents properly readied, and whatever they ask for, go and submit them. You will have all your aids. You don't need to think about that. And if that's stopping you from getting admitted to an IIT, think twice. IIT is literally, at least in Bombay, in the times that I studied there, they used to give out laptops, literally, to people who couldn't afford one. So they help you in every single step. And that's why I was telling, as for somebody else who had asked the question whether an IIT or a university or a normal university, I'm not sure whether a normal university will give you all these opportunities, all these facilities. An IIT will. You will get financial fundings from IITs if you have proper documentation. So don't worry if you are lacking in finances only and you think you might not be able to pay up your tuition fees over there. Please go ahead and approach the alumni cell at Bombay. They would help you out for sure.
Okay, Ipshita has a nice question for you, that what is Karan and what are the works you do there? They want to know what type of work you do there.
The first part of the question, please.
Means in which in the sector you are doing your work. How is your work? What is your work type? And as a geologist, what type of work do you do?
Okay, so I work with Kane and I work as an interpretation geologist over here, as an exploration geologist. So we work primarily in figuring out where oil is and where do we go and drill and get more crude oil. Our primary aim as an exploration geologist is that, to find out where the oil is. Well, they say oil is in your brain.
Yeah, we get it.
That's
Okay,
what we
and
do.
okay, the most of the undergraduate students actually they are very much don't know what to do now because they're not getting the point. Would they pursue MSc or go for other academical world, or they after MSc they should do this sort of work? Means they should join some exploration company or any private. Means what way they should go? They're like very much disturbed. And one more thing, if they doesn't get through IIT at the stage of MSc, means through JAM, then it's like they can't go to IIT any way or the other.
No. The second question I would answer first. No, I don't think there's any other way to get into an IIT other than through JAM. And that's the only way, as far as I know, for geology at least. For physics, chemistry, I think there is something else, but that's not specifically for IIT. Those are for other institutes like TIFR and maybe for IUCA. I'm not sure because that's like a long time back and I have to recollect. But there are probably other examinations for those institutes. For IITs, it's JAM. I don't think there's any other examination to get into an IIT for masters. That's JAM only. And for the question again that you had asked for the UGs, that whether they should pursue a job, one thing I'll tell you, I'm not sure if a lot of you have seen, but maybe you might encounter people who have done masters are Uber drivers. Have you ever encountered an auto rickshaw wala who has graduated? I have. And a lot of them. Believe me, they're all searching for jobs. I literally encountered a Uber driver who is a master's in history, has a MBA in finance, and is driving Uber. Think of it. That's the extent of unemployment right now. So whether you want to pursue masters or whether you want to go ahead with a job is completely up to you, up to your financial conditions at home. That's where I was harping throughout the session. It's you only who can decide. This is a very uncertain world. Nobody, and absolutely nobody, can certainly tell you that even if you land up with a job, you will have the job 1 year later or maybe 6 months later. Nobody can tell you. So, to me, I would see at the situation in that form that a higher educational degree is sometimes better at giving you more opportunities. But then if the financial conditions at home are not really sustainable, then you need to think twice. The next one.
Okay. One next means I think so. This will be your last question. Like, please share one of your experiences, best experiences with all the students, so that they get a bit motivated.
Okay, so one of the experiences is like I said, my BSc third year field work, where I did have a broken leg and I ended up with the whole of the field work done. Okay, for people who just asked that they can't do their labs and that they can't do their practical fieldworks now, maybe now is a time to acquire some other skill set as you sit at home. That would help you. Maybe you can take up software skills. You can take up software classes or maybe browse through YouTube or so many other platforms which train you in softwares. Maybe get some training with softwares, get yourself oriented with softwares, because to be honest, if you land up in a company with a job, you will be expected to bare minimum be able to handle basic softwares like Microsoft Office. So maybe get yourself to work around Microsoft Office a little professionally. So if you are thinking as to how to utilize this pandemic when you can't do lab works, or maybe if there's somebody who loves making models, can end up making crystal models out of basic cardboard boxes that we have leftovers at home, can end up making crystal models and maybe look into crystallography in a different pattern and from a different angle altogether. Maybe you can end up with some other hobbies also. So, I mean, if you are asking me as to preparation of jam, as so, yeah, if you are into crystal modeling, you would probably end up understanding crystal models better than anybody else, and then that definitely helps in preparation of jam. So, and last of all, if you are asking me about motivation, well, my most of my motivation came from inside. I have self mentored myself, I've self motivated myself throughout my life. I've never really had anybody to fall back on, because I believe in one thing, there's that if you are standing at the edge of a cliff, you only have the option of jumping into the abyss. Take the jump once, take the leap once. There can be only two solutions from there. Either the abyss is going to eat you up whole, or you might swim to find the shore. But unless you take the jump, you will never learn swimming. The abyss might eat you up whole and you might end up hitting rock bottom. But does that mean you will not learn to float back? Does that mean you will not learn to swim? No, not absolute, not at all. You will learn to do it in however way you can do. So you will have to take the jump, because most of the times in life, for the person who was saying that he was afraid of failure, most of the times in life you will see that your back is to the wall. You have a big wall right behind your back and you're cornered. The only thing that you can do at that time is break that damn wall behind you. You have no other option. So break them, break those walls. That's all from my end.
Okay, thank you, Nilanjana. It was so nice. Because of you, today our talk was such a, what to say, we could reach so much of huge responses. We already got so many of the questions because all can't be today be done right now. So all the other questions which all the students have, we will share with Nilanjana, and after she gives all the answer, we will share with you all. Thank you, Nilanjana, so much. You, within this short period of time, you got your time and you shared with us. You have been doing this so nicely. Thank you so much again.
Thank you to EduBazar and to Pujadi for giving me this opportunity. I hope I was able to answer a few of your questions. If you have more, please do ping back. Thank you.
Yeah, they will obviously. We are always waiting for your next speech again. And so, all the students, you have, if all of you have more questions, please just let us know in the chat box. We'll forward it to Nilanjana. And before I wrap it out, I would again like to say, please fill up the feedback form, okay, properly, so that we can give you all your certificates. And also, I would like to say, for about all the mock test series, which I've already mentioned, one is for Geology mock test series, one is for JAM mock test series. All the links are given in the description box. If any of you are interested, please join it. Already we have 145 plus K subscribers in the GATE series as well as in the JAM series. And for all the other subjects also, we will be trying to do this type of mock test series very soon. Please stay tuned with us in the Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. Okay, and I guess we can wrap it round. And please, all of you, please be with us. Stay tuned with us. Stay tuned with EduBazar. We'll be holding this sort of seminars in the coming month and also workshops so that every one of you get motivated each and every day. Thank you everyone for being with us. Thank you all. Thank you, Nilanjana, again.
Thank you all for being there
Thank
with
you.
me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.